Good morning, YouTube. If you thought traveling by airliner was already miserable and terrible, April has an article about somebody trying to make it worse, at least for one airline.
Well, some people might like it and enjoy it, and it'll be better.
No.
I don't know. Not so much for me, but Virgin Australia Airline are now going to be allowing pets to fly on planes. Yes, in the next 12 months, they're going to go through this approval process, which I was reading this article and they were saying they don't really need an approval process because they own the planes themselves. They should just be able to let animals on whenever they please. But they're just kind of checking all the boxes to make sure everyone's okay with it. And you're going to be able to bring your animals, whether it is a dog, cat, or maybe something else,
Where do you want to go?
On a plane.
You want to go somewhere? You want to fly?
I can't imagine bringing Neelix anywhere on a plane. Oh my gosh.
Coming in for a landing.
She does seem very, very comfortable.
I think this is the only cat that could travel because most cats would just start attacking you the moment you do that. But this thing's basically a dog, which is why it's sticking around. But
right.
Richard Branson is a crazy person. We all know that.
Right. Well, their airline isn't doing
as
well. I guess Qatar was kind of beating them a lot in their domestic travel, and so they're trying to up their game and set themselves apart with allowing pets.
Well, so Virgin is local to some countries, but just for us, it's only international.
Right.
So I assume you can't, like, international pet travel is kind of sketchy anyways.
Well, they're just trying this out in Australia for domestic flights.
I
see. The moment, to see how it goes.
Well, I imagine Australians have some weird pets, so that might be very interesting.
Like a kangaroo or an armadillo.
Right.
They would have them.
Yeah.
But I've seen, people with pets and animals, and there could be a lot of issues. And also when I was looking at this article, which seems absolutely crazy, but there was a flight where an alligator got loose on the flight and caused the plane
So instead of getting this mother mistake off this other plane, it was an alligator?
Alligator.
There's no Samuel L. Jackson to save the day on this one, huh?
Actually, a crocodile, which there's a difference between an alligator and a crocodile.
Freshwater, saltwater, whatever.
No, I think crocodiles are more vicious. And their teeth are like, and they attack more. Like they were saying in this crash investigation, it looked like people accumulated in the front of the plane.
Oh, so they ran to the front and the plane nosedived?
Right, because the crocodile got out of its bag. It was actually being smuggled onto a plane. Now, we are talking about the Congo area, so there are more exotic animals and pets perhaps on flights over there. But so there was one survivor, and they had stated that it was because of the crocodile. Now, the investigation people said it seemed improbable, but there was a smaller gathering of everyone kind of in the front of the plane. Now, when the plane crashed, could have everyone kind of jarred themselves
Well, you
forward?
couldn't talk them into, like, hey, spread out because we're going to crash, but then someone has to get chomped by a crocodile. So it's a no-win scenario.
What would you do if you were on that flight?
I would go stand in the back with the crocodile to keep the plane from crashing. I'd go Mick Dundee or the Croc Hunter and jump on the thing and wrestle with it.
Yeah, you guys all have to like band together and jump on the crocodile together mid-flight.
But imagine like a herd of cats on a plane.
A herd.
And one of them, let's say it's when Neelix was in heat, which you saw last week when Neelix like absolutely lost his mind, somehow got out, and it would be a nightmare. Like I've been on a plane with plenty of dogs. There was one time where it was a zoo and little baby jaguars going to another zoo, and they were so cute. But the whole plane, they're like, "Rah!" Like a cat, because like you take a cat in a car to the vet, which maybe you wouldn't care that much because you're weird, but you take a cat to the vet and their world's ending.
Yeah.
A dog, like, there's already so many dogs on planes, and a lot of them are service animals. I'm sure it's the case with some of them, but a lot of people, just so they can travel with their pets, make them service animals. So maybe it's a way to be more accommodating without abusing the service animal thing. I don't know. Are they going to is it a free-for-all, or is it going to be certain people in certain places?
There's a little bit of an extra cost, and then there are certain rows on these planes that are accommodated and positioned for animals.
Okay.
Not that there's more room. You have to keep them in a carrier that fits under the seat
so
in
nothing
front of
big.
you. So nothing big.
Okay.
Right.
So small, medium dogs and cats.
But what's stopping someone from shoving
birds.
their bigger dog because they want to travel with them underneath a tiny seat in front of you? And what happens if you're tall like yourself and then you have no place for your legs to
no
go?
leg room. I mean, are you allowed? Are they going to have like a pet play area in the back, or?
No, and so people are asking, like, what happens if the dogs like have to pee and the cats have to pee, which is so. Like the smell of cat urine.
Like you're already, if you get sat in the back of the plane,
right?
And you see somebody walking towards the back, you're like, oh no, because when they bomb that bathroom, the whole plane, especially if you're in the back 3-4 rows, you are.
You're done.
Oh, the smell.
But they're talking about having the absorbent mats. But I've been to like. I love my friends. I have a couple friends that have little dogs, and they have the little mats for them to pee on. They always miss the pee pads. They always miss it a little bit, and
they're little yipper dogs with little pee brains and little pee bladders, and
so it's just this ammonia smell that just permeates and seeps into carpeting. So it's going to seep into the plane, and it'll be gross. But I get it if you want to travel, and pets are like your family, and especially if you don't have kids, it's like. These are your children. They're treated like children.
Growing up and in adulthood having pets, they got so excited to go to doggy daycare.
Yeah.
And it's a resort, and they get to play with their dogs, and they're so happy to go, and they're so happy to come back home. They're happy going both ways. And cats hate leaving their house. Like they go outside for a little bit, but they don't want to go anywhere.
They want you to leave. They're like, goodbye. Don't come back for another 2 weeks.
The only travel dog we would have ever had growing up was a little 5-pound Chihuahua named Bean, who we took to the vet, and the vet said that if we could take this dog back, you probably should because it's inbred.
Oh no!
And its skull had not completely fused together.
Oh no!
And so that there's a little hole in its skull, and it was 5 pounds and morbidly obese, and it took 5 years for this dog to get housebroken. So all the carpet had to be ripped up, replaced with tile, and the dog didn't understand. Like the dog knew it shouldn't go in the house, but like it just could not hold it.
Where did you get? What part of Kansas did this dog come from?
No, this was at a flea market in Texas, and so the dog knew that it wasn't supposed to poop in the house, and so when it would poop in the house, it was like, oh God, I don't want to get in trouble. So he just start chowing down on it. And then we had a 30-pound cat, which would be really something to travel with. That cat died of constipation. It was a really weird thing. But when guests would come over to greet our guests, my 5-pound Chihuahua would knock over the obese 30-pound cat. The cat is too fat to get up. And the dog would start humping away on this cat. And the cat would be screaming while the Chihuahua was humping away. And that was how most people got greeted for the house. It was like the Chihuahua wanted to establish dominance and say, this is my house, people, look at this, and knock over the cat and start humping. And that was our routine for our home forever.
That sounds traumatizing slightly. Like constipation, what did you feed the cat?
Oh, you're still on that. I don't know. It ate all the time, nonstop. So
obviously
when it was
fat.
out of food, we had this narrow hallway going down the house, and the cat, if it was out of food, it'd start screaming and walking down the hallway, and then it would fall over and be like a massive speed bump that you would trip over until you got the cat food. And it had a cat door going into its room, shared with the laundry room, and it got so fat that it couldn't fit through the cat door. Like it just squeezed through, so you'd see the back paws just peeling to get the fat through the door. And since we had multiple cats, it was like hard to like keep food from one from the other.
What was the cat's name?
Mickey 2, because Mickey 1 got hit by a car, and we weren't very creative with the names.
What?
So it's just like, what about Mickey 2?
Neelix, run, because this place is terrible.
But I can't imagine like traveling with these psychotic animals.
You did tell me that you traveled with Bean one time to Colorado, right?
Oh, right. So Bean, the Chihuahua, died of congestive heart failure. And he ended up in the high altitude of Colorado. But we drove up with the dog.
Oh,
had the big dog and the little dog.
Okay.
The dog had congestive heart failure and couldn't breathe in the altitude. He was choking, he was dying. We thought this was the end, ran him to the vet, and they put him literally in an oxygen bubble. Aww. Like a clear beach ball with oxygen. Aww. Dog was fine. Could not live for days in the beach ball, obviously.
That sounds really expensive.
So some friends were going back down early And they thought, okay, we'll just send the dog back with them and put him into the doggy daycare and he'll be fine. Well, coming down the mountain, he almost did it again. He was having that Fred Sanford, like, "Oh, I'm coming, like dying. And they thought, okay, the dog is going to die in the car, until they got down into the lower areas with the thicker oxygen, and the dog lived. My mom's a nurse,
Right.
so she like rationed his pills for his congestive heart failure.
She gave him mouth to mouth.
No, like the pills you take for congestive heart failure.
Right.
It's the same sort of with dogs and humans. Like
Right.
she kept him alive for years longer than he should have because of that. She was so good with the nursing, the pills administration.
no.
But they spent who knows how many thousands of dollars tiling the house because the dog couldn't get housebroken. It could fit through the fence, so they had to weld a little bar in between each wrought iron of the fence, which I'm sure cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And then the vet bills for this last 5 years of its life is like probably, I don't know, easily $30,000, $50,000 spent on this stupid dog throughout its lifetime.
That's really sweet. See, I was thinking like the animals are doomed when they go to the Hoovers, but no, you do take care of them in the long run.
No, well, the record for a dog is 16, 17, something like that.
See,
So,
that's good.
for a
Okay,
big
so it
dog.
is safe. Neelix, you are safe. I was
don't
worried
know.
about her for a minute.
I don't know.
You're
We're
gonna be
gonna have to
okay.
kick this cat out
You're gonna
because
be okay.
we're gonna move in here while they work on the house. So
That's true.
Maybe you'll get eaten by something and we won't have to feed it anymore. But yeah, traveling with it?
No, thanks.
No, I don't want to be on a plane with a bunch of crazy animals. No, but thank you so much for watching.